Owl, right? I'm up here in the front. Let me just put this down.
But that's the microphone that now.
Right. Okay, great. Sorry to be like right up in your space.
Okay, and I'm going to leave it like this so people can see on the Zoom.
Oh, okay, that sounds great. Well, you're going to get to see our notes, but I'm not working off of those. Anyway, good evening, everyone. It's great to be back in Community District 9. I'm Josh Goodman, Deputy Commissioner at the New York City Department of Sanitation, joined by Assistant Commissioner Jonathan Vigers. Hope everybody had a wonderful new year. Many of you have seen versions of this presentation before, but there are, as always, updates on the latest progress. And just for those of you who are maybe hearing about this for the first time, obviously it's a new year, a new crowd. What is it that's happening here? Manhattan Community District 9 is months away from being the only place in North America with full European-style trash containerization. It is at the forefront of the future of trash, getting the black bags off the streets once and for all, fighting the rats, and taking back our public space. So we're going to talk about what we are doing, what we're not doing, the current progress, and what you can expect over the next few months. So I'll just begin by talking about what we've been doing for the last year or so on 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights, and then get into what's changing about that and what's coming to the rest of the district. So for about 50 years, as I think everybody knows, New York has been just about the only place in the country where it was not only legal, but normal to just throw your trash right on the sidewalk. 24 million pounds of it a day, every single day. Beginning in September of 2023, so a little more than a year ago now, we began piloting shared on-street containers, and don't get too hung up on these because what we're about to talk about is different, but this is just the background, on 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights. These containers were on wheels, which the future ones will not. They were open to the public, which the future ones will not. And they were shared by the block, which the future ones will not be. So we'll talk about the differences in more detail, but I do just want to say, our first proof of concept for the use of on-street containers on these 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights, let me put this in context. In 2024, we saw a citywide reduction in rat sightings of about 6%. That was huge. It might not sound like a lot, but a 6% decrease was actually the biggest year-over-year decrease since 2010. Like, rat numbers, they go in one direction. So if you can do anything to get them down, you're seeing a huge change. So that was a citywide change of 6%. On these 10 blocks, Hamilton Heights, the drop was 59%. This works and is part of a citywide strategy to fight the rats and take back our public space. So now we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about what's coming. We have a plan, and Mayor Adams has been very clear that the intention is to containerize all of the trash citywide. But it's not moving out across the city at the same, all at once. We've been doing this in phases. Over the course of 2022 and early 2023, we required all businesses in the city to put their trash in containers. Then last fall, and we'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit, all buildings with 1 to 9 residential units, so everything from a single family home up through a small apartment, everywhere in the city became required to use a bin like you see on the left. Just a regular trash can, which many residents already chose to use, but that's now required. What's coming to Manhattan Community District 9 starting in June is what you see on the right. This on-street European-style container. In New York, we call them Empire bins. We'll go through them in detail a little bit more, but they will be required for use for all the largest residential buildings, those with 31 or more units. And the buildings with 10 to 30 units, the mid-sized buildings, get a choice. They either containerize with the wheelie bins like the small buildings, or with the on-street Empire bins like the large buildings. And Jonathan is leading a team that is currently knocking on the door of every one of those buildings to explain the choice and get them to make their selection. Next slide, please. So what is the timeline? Those mid-sized buildings, the 10 to 30s, they have to make their decision this month. And it's an opt-in, so if we don't hear from them, we just assume they're using the wheelie bins. But if you live in a building with 10 to 30 units, please do check in with either, if you manage the trash directly, great, but check in with whoever does, with the property manager, and let them know, hey, I think somebody came by and left you something, maybe spoke to someone if you made your choice yet. And the reason we have to close that form on January 31st is because we need time to set up the routes. Okay, this block has this many, this block has this many, and to actually get the Empire bins, right? Our manufacturer has to produce enough and prepare them for installation. So then in May and then into June, we will be removing the on-street containers from the 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights and installing the new containers throughout the district for all of the 31 and up buildings, as well as the 10 to 30s that opted in. You should see them all come out in the month of May. And we can install several dozen a week once we get going. And then June 1st, this is in effect. Everybody in Manhattan Community District 9 will be using a container for trash, either an individual wheelie bin for the smaller buildings or an on-street Empire bin for the larger buildings. Something that people have been dreaming about for about 50 years will finally come to fruition here in this neighborhood. Right? The trash off the street, our sidewalks back for what they're intended for us to walk around. And that pilot will run for 364 days. Actually, I guess 26, not a leap year, no, 364 days. And then we will be, throughout the process, analyzing it, doing an environmental impact study. Our intention is to then expand this beyond this district. What you're getting is essentially what we believe will become the citywide response. Obviously, we will take feedback from the community and make tweaks as necessary. But this is not just another pilot. This is the pilot that is supposed to end all pilots on this topic. Next slide, please. So there are about 1,000 residential buildings in the district that are using wheelie bins already or are required to. Whether they are or not, of course, that's something that our enforcement teams are looking into. There are 685 buildings in that medium space, and Jonathan's been going around to every single one of them. We've made contact with about 3/4 of them by this point, and just going back until we get to somebody at every single one. And then there are 424 buildings that will be for sure using the Empire bin. There is an action item for them too, which is, we'll talk a little more about this, but the bins, unlike the ones currently being piloted on those 10 blocks, are locked. They have a key card, and they can only be opened by the property owner's designee, so whoever manages the trash, the super, right? This prevents illegal dumping all around, it prevents the business on the corner from illegally putting their trash in it, and it just creates more accountability around cleanliness. So we need the property owners to still tell us, like, hey, who do you want us to send the key card to? So we're doing that outreach as well. Next slide, please. So how is this gonna work, right? The Empire bin, you've seen pictures of it, that's a real one. The first ones of their kind in North America. They are assigned to a specific building, as I mentioned, solely for use by that building. One of the main pieces of feedback we heard from the 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights was, well, why is it in front of my house and not my neighbor's house? For the go-forward strategy, we have an answer. It's in front of your house if it belongs to your house. If your building is the one using it, it goes right in front or somewhere convenient to you right in front, and nobody has to say, well, it's in front of me and I don't even use it. So it solves that problem. How come I have to walk 100 feet down to get to the one in the middle of the block? You won't anymore. Right? The building super will go right out to it. And that's actually a really interesting development. As far as we know, most of Europe does communal bins. An assigned bin is actually something that we're able to do in New York because of our unique density. It was a great discovery because sort of the haters of trash containerization, the friends of the rats, would always say, this will never work in New York because we're too dense. Well, it is true that like even Eastern Queens and the South Shore of Staten Island are denser than most of Europe. But we were able to figure out that our density is so great that we can do assigned bins and basically use what had been a challenge to our advantage. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, we're already on the next slide. Go back one, please, I apologize. Great, so your collection days will not change, but one really cool thing is this gets rid of restricted set out times. If your trash is going into an Empire bin, it can go in whenever. It's totally up to your building staff. I know right now, supers in a lot of the large buildings say, well, I don't like that I have to be here until 8 p.m., which is the earliest I'm legally allowed to put it out. It will likely save many large buildings on staff overtime because now they can go out and put it out every day. And it will free up space. If there's a space in a large building where you're currently storing trash all the time until 8 p.m. the night before your collection day, you'll actually be able to get that space back, which is pretty amazing and could help a lot and get the rats out of the buildings too for those who have to deal with that. The collection days will stay the same though. The set out time goes away, the days stay the same. The 10 blocks in Hamilton Heights have been receiving 6-day-a-week collection because there aren't really enough bins. With these, we'll be able to go back to the 3-day-a-week collection, but again, feel free to put the material in the bin anytime. There will be no cost for these bins for the 1 year of the pilot, at least. And so any building that opts in, that chooses to use it for the 10 to 30, if there does end up being an ongoing maintenance cost in the future, we will certainly come back and say, now there's a cost, do you still want to stay opted in or not? We won't drop that on anybody as a surprise. Next slide, please. So property owners are responsible for cleaning the area around the Empire bins. That's the case now. A property owner has to clean 18 inches into the street. Just wanted to be clear that the 18 inches goes around the bin as well, rather than just right along the curb. But we're gonna take care of the cleaning of the bins. We'll do graffiti removal. Our contract includes about 4 times a year deep power washing, where a vendor's gonna get in there and really scrub it down. One of the things we are testing in this first year is 4 times a year the right amount? So we definitely want to hear from the community, hey, it needs it more, or actually it doesn't need it as often. So we'll figure that out together. But based on what we've learned from people in Barcelona and Paris, we think 4 times a year is probably about right. But we definitely will want to hear from you if there are any problems. And also our contract includes immediate replacement. If there's a problem with the bin, the manufacturer is required to get you a new one within 24 hours. So I mentioned this already, the opt-in, the 10 to 30 buildings, we really, really need you to think about this. You know, I'm already dreading having a property manager say in mid-February, I just heard about these things, can I get one? And so I'm making Jonathan keep really good records of like, well, I was at that building, so we can come back and say, you didn't just hear about it, we were there on this day. But please, if you know people who live in and manage these mid-sized buildings, please let them know about this deadline. We're doing as much outreach as we can. We've sent mailers, we're knocking every door multiple times, but we really want people to make their choice proactively. And if you don't opt for the Empire bin, you will have to get those wheelie bins, just like the small buildings do. Fine, there's pros and cons to both. It's really whatever works for you, but just know that come June 1st, your trash cannot go on the curb anymore. It has to go in one of these 2 types of containers. Next slide, please. So for the 31 or more, you have to complete the property survey so that we know who to give our bins to, give our contact information to and the cards to. We're gonna be coming around to all of those buildings. They're not under the tight timeline because we know they're getting bins, so we don't need that by the end of January, we just need it by June. But we will be coming around proactively and aggressively throughout the spring to get all of those. Next slide, please. So just to recap, and we'll get through the rest of this very quickly, this is just sort of high-level stuff, but for the 1 to 9s, you should already be using this if you're in a single-family home up through a 9-unit building, unless you're in that 10-block pilot. If you're already using the 10-block on-street containers, you have until June to get these when those go away. They are available at bins.nyc or at every New York City Home Depot. And as you all know, I think they're about 1/3 the cost of similar bins. So nice deal for everybody. Next slide, please. That's just a screenshot of the website where you can order them. The trash bin is required, the blue and green for your recycling. We offer them if you're somebody who likes a matched set, but your recycling can still go out in bags. That's not required. Next slide, please. There are 2 sizes, the 35 and the 45. I think many single-family homes prefer the 35. Even 2 units, though, you probably want the larger one, but it's really whatever you prefer, as long as there's no bags on the street. Next slide, please. One of the biggest things I always like to stress is we always show this beautiful shot of the logo. The other side of the bin is a big white space. That's for you to write your address. When you get these bins, please do so right away and legibly. It's the single biggest thing you can do to make sure that your bin doesn't walk up and down the block. Other anti-theft measures, they do have a serial number and an RFID chip. It's not a tracking chip, but it's if we find a misplaced one, we can get it back to the right person in almost all cases. So please do write your address as soon as you can. And of course, as always, with all stolen property, best thing to do is a police report. Next slide, please. These, no, because they have to be wheeled out and back. People can chain them up when not in use, but obviously when they're out on the street for collection, sanitation workers have to be able to move them. We're working with the LPC to make sure that we have full approval to do everything in the historic districts within. within Community District 9. We're not anticipating any problems there, but we're working closely. Obviously, as you can imagine, these European cities that containerize have a lot of historic districts. So there's a lot of, I know, no, we're not, no questions, I know. We're very close to the end. Just wanted to say that the rules do provide a lot of flexibility about storage. They can go in front, they can go in a yard, they can go in the back, they can go right along the building or even within 3 feet of the building as long as they don't block the sidewalk. Next slide. Just very quickly wanted to let you all know that we recently tripled the hours that our special waste drop-off sites are open. This is where you bring things that are unsafe to put in the trash, motor oil, batteries, stuff like that. They used to be open 1 day a week. Now they're open 3 days a week. And similarly, next slide, please. We have new textile drop-off bins, 1 per borough. That's a brand new service, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to mention it. And we'll go to the final slide. More info about the program at nyc.gov/empire-bins, or as always, you can email us outreach@dsny.nyc.gov.
All right, I am going to call on folks with questions. I see Daria, Walter, April, Charles, and Josh, right? Yep. And then Dr. Mungoya. Okay, but we're going to keep it. Brevity is the soul of wit, and happy board members.
I'm gonna talk as fast as I can. I'm curious as to how many bins a big building such as, and this is a compound question, so I'm gonna keep talking, like 3333 would have, and how will those be spaced so there can be parking around it? I have a question about parking in the community and the amount that is taken up. And also, is there any consideration, or can there be any consideration that we have a lot of double wide sidewalks because we don't have grass here? Is there any consideration that some of those can be put in on the double wide sidewalk rather than in the street for parking?
So as far as how many bins we're talking about, in any building up to about 35, 40 units is going to require only 1. Once you get above that, it might be 2. We're going to do waste site surveys. We've already begun this for many of the largest buildings. And we're working with the property management to figure out, okay, do they want them all together? Do they want them sort of split apart? We're trying to be thoughtful about this. Obviously, putting them together makes for faster collection and less time stuck behind the truck, sort of waiting for them to get to the next one. So there are pros and cons to everything. But many buildings will get by with 1, and some will need more than 1. As far as placing them on the sidewalk, remember that the truck sort of reaches down like this and picks it up. And so if there are cars, we couldn't have cars parked next to it because then you would be lifting the container up over the cars and it can't reach. So they have to go in that first lane. You know, look, it is a repurposing of public space to place these trash containers. That's part of the reason why it's only for the 31 pluses. It's not for more buildings than that to minimize that impact. And why at the moment it's only trash. It's not recycling, which would mean many, many more of these, right? And we know that the recycling doesn't attract rats in the same way anyway. So there's reasons to focus on trash. We believe that this is a more efficient use of public space than having it taken up with the trash bags. But obviously there is a parking impact. About 2 of these is 1 parking space.
Walter, go ahead.
I just have a question about the compost. I know 3 trucks come out, garbage,
Yes.
plastics, and the papers. When does the compost, is there a separate truck for them? Because I put it out last week, and my neighbor's always helping me, like, oh, they're coming, or they, you know.
They are
so
coming.
is there a set time to put out the compost?
It comes on the same day as the recycling. So whatever day you do the metal, glass, plastic, and paper, it comes at the same day, usually on the same shift. But not always on the same shift. And one of the things that can be hard to see from like when you're inside looking out the window and watching, one of the ways we were able to build this citywide composting program and make it so much more efficient and cheaper than older versions is we use these dual bin trucks that have a left side and a right side.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time I get people all the time say, I was watching from my window and they just put it in the back of the same truck as the trash. And it's like, yeah, but they put it in the different side, which you couldn't see. So it may be one of those trucks that you're already seeing, but they come the same day as the recycling.
I know I put it on a Saturday, but sometimes they come later. Sometimes all the trash is going.
Especially, and I just give a very quick reason why. Because people may find this interesting, in the winter time, we schedule more of the recycling in the evening. Recycling can sit out longer because it doesn't attract rats. And the advantage of having it out in the evening is if there's ever a surprise snowstorm that's not predicted, there's already sanitation workers at work to get the recycling. So in the wintertime, we move some of that at night, and then it'll go back in the spring.
Hi, my question is how long the life expectancy of those bins, and what do you do? Because we're talking about a lot of bins. How do you recycle them, those broken ones? Where do they go?
So the wheelie bins, the little ones for the small buildings, have a 10-year warranty. If there's a problem with them, if they're damaged, you can report a 10-year, within the 10-year timeline on those. For the Empire bins, the on-street containers, we're already covered in our contract. They have to replace them for as long as we want if there's any issues with them. If you have a trash bin or a recycling bin, an old one that you don't want anymore, you can recycle them with your metal, glass, and plastic. What I usually say, just the easiest way to do it, this isn't a rule, it's just like a thing that works well for people. Put it out on your recycling day, upside down, and write the word recycling on it. And that's how they'll know, oh, this isn't just a bin, they want me to take it away. And we'll take it away and we'll recycle it.
Okay, just out of curiosity, I heard you speak about key cards.
Yes.
To lock them, right? How, when the trash trucks come by, how the trucks open them?
It's really cool, actually. It's part of flipping them upside down. So they need a key card to open them from the street when you're putting trash in it. And then also, I should have mentioned this, but just for accessibility, they actually have 3 physical ways to open. So you hit the key card, and then you can either pick up the lid, you can pull a lever, or you can do it with your foot. So there's 3 ways to open it once you've unlocked it as the person putting trash out. Then when the sanitation truck comes by and hoists it up over the top, it opens automatically.
Hey, for the mid-sized residential buildings, how do y'all determine if they opt into the wheelie bins, how many wheelie bins they need?
Well, they have to get the wheelie bins themselves. Every property owner that is using wheelie bins has to buy them at bins.nyc or at Home Depot, and it's up to them. I will say it's a great question on how many you need, especially as like a small property owner. When we rolled this out for businesses first, a lot of businesses underestimated how many they need. There were so many businesses that for the first couple months, they had 1 when they really needed 2, or they had 2 when they really needed 3, and it took them a little while. So I will say, if you're still getting your bins, be thoughtful about how much trash do I actually produce on a regular basis in my building.
Hi. I know there's a lot of concern about parking. I share that concern. However, has there been any consideration of coordinating where the bins are placed, perhaps on either side of fire hydrants to help keep that space clear from parking in front of the hydrant, or also at the corners to help with daylighting?
Yes, we think there is a possibility to use these for daylighting in some places, which would be great because that's something that you're already looking to repurpose public space for, and we would avoid doubling up. The only issue is it has to be close to the building that's using it. If there's a 31 or more unit building right there in a daylighting area or close to a hydrant, we definitely are working with DOT to coordinate whenever we're able to, which will be in many but not all cases.
Yeah, excuse me, our building was considered, we're in the interim and we're considering what to do.
Yeah.
What happens if the key is vandalized or, that kind of thing?
The company, I'm actually really proud of this one, but it's like so in the weeds, I didn't get into it. The company that is making them and that has the maintenance contract, they make the ones for Barcelona and a few other cities in Europe. They're actually setting up a North American office that's going to be right over the river in the Bronx. And as part of the contract, they have to get to you same day with a new key card.
For special waste drop-off, does that include VHS tapes, cassettes?
Those can go out in your regular recycling.
Really?
Yeah, just put them out.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll take those anytime on your recycling day.
Good to know.
And someone had texted to ask a question. When will you begin fining folks for not putting out composting bins?
Yeah, so by law, right now we're in a warning and education period for failure to separate your compost. The law that was passed by the council at the end of 2023 says that fines for that can begin April 1st. And the way it works is it's exactly the same as the existing law about not recycling. Just the same fine you could get for putting bottles and cans in with your trash soon will apply also to composting. And I can make sure that when we come back, we include a little more information about that because it'll still be before the enforcement period starts.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This has been very informative. If you have any further follow-up questions for Department of Sanitation, they might be hanging around in the back. We do have with us 2 of our new Assembly members in person. So I'd like to welcome down Micah Lasher, who will be representing the 69th Assembly District did he leave? Okay, all right, let me grab then new Assemblyman Wright, who will be representing the 70th.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, that's loud. Wow. Hello, hello, hello. Hey there, my name is Jordan Wright, Assembly Member representing the 70th Assembly District. Very, very happy to be here. I know I came here a couple months ago as member-elect, so I'm happy to be here now as the member himself. I gave out my office phone number, which I will do again at the end of this conversation, and have a couple of other announcements to make. My office is in the State Office Building on 125th Street, Suite 911. Come on by any time and say hello. My Chief of Staff is here. His name is Maurice Cummings. Mo, please raise your hand. Some of you all might remember Mo. He was a special assistant in my father, Keith Wright's office. So he's really well versed in constituent services, how Albany works and functions, and most of all, how to make sure I'm the best assembly member possible. So that's really exciting, and my other staff will probably be joining us virtually at some point at one time or another. So just please look out for them as well. But Maurice Cummings, that's my Chief of Staff. One other very exciting thing, and I don't have it quite to memory yet, so please bear with me, is I received my committees in the New York State Assembly. I am on the Aging Committee. Thank you. I'm on the Aging Committee. I'm going to try to do this from memory, so I'm sorry, y'all. I'm on the Aging Committee. I'm on the Transportation Committee. I am on the Libraries Committee. I'm on the Economic Development Committee, as well as I'm on the Racing and Wagering Committee as well. And yeah, so those are my committees that I'm on, and I'm really looking forward to serving and being a really integral part of this community, because West Harlem is Harlem, and I'm excited to be here servicing all of you. Please be on the lookout for some really exciting announcements in regards to stuff I'm going to do to activate, you guys over here, to make sure that you guys are getting the time and attention you definitely deserve. So thank you so much. You guys have always been helpful to me in everything I've done. So I'm going to continue to, pay that forward and give it right back to you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Do I take questions, Weinberg?
Take one or two questions if there are any from the Assembly member. If not,
I'll keep it pushing. No worries. Barry knows where to find me, so, quite literally knows where I live. Anyone? No? We're good? All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Oh, my office phone number, 212. I'll start again just in case anyone's getting ready. 212-866-5809. So call anytime, day or night, maybe not night, but definitely during the day. And we'll make sure we can service you and, continue to promote this great relationship that we're all having. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Once again, my name is Jordan Wright, Assembly Member from the 70th Assembly District. Thank you so much.
all right, and so since I know Michael Asher was here and had to leave, are you with his office? Come on down and introduce yourself, and then we will move right back to the regular agenda.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to introduce myself, Claire Botnick. I'm going to be Micah's Chief of Staff in the 69th Assembly District. To echo Assemblymember Wright, we're really eager to work closely with the Community Board, get to know all of the issues that you all are working on here, and look forward to serving the constituents of the 69th Assembly District. And our office, we have inherited Danny O'Donnell's office, so if some of you have visited there before, you can find us there again. It's at 245 West 104th Street between West End and Broadway. And I have not memorized our phone number yet, but I will be sure to stick around and share it with you, as well as my email, and you should all feel free to reach out to us anytime. I look forward to working with you all now. Yes, Claire Botnick. And the Assembly member is Micah Lasher for the 69th. Great. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, we are now going to go back to the regular agenda with reports. I will give Victor's very brief chair's report. He has been working very diligently on securing space for arts organizations and artists in the district, as envisioned in the Community Benefits Agreement with Columbia University for the Manhattanville project. And they hopefully have located a space that will be acceptable and helpful to the community and stakeholders working with the West Harlem Arts Alliance. The One Harlem Coalition is where our chair is tonight. They have a meeting at the St. Mary's Church on 126 in Old Broadway. We have been attending many of these meetings diligently with Senator Claire and other elected officials and community stakeholders, with a particular focus on creation of additional affordable housing units that are truly affordable to low-income folks, and further extensions and deepening of the benefits in partnership with Columbia. And also a farewell to Assemblyman Danny O'Donnell, who represented our district for many years and was a former Board 9 member, as well as our former Assemblywoman Inez Dickens from the 70th. And just once again, a thank you to Westside Market, Dinosaur Barbecue, Mofongo del Valle, and Costco for their contributions to our holiday party last December for those who were here at the General Board meeting. Yutha, did I miss anything? No, you did not. All right. I will keep it moving and pass it to Deirdre McIntosh Brown for our Treasurer's Report.
Good evening, everyone. The Treasurer's Report is in your packet for the month of January, and you can see where our expenses are, basically supplies, maintenance for the Community Board office. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much. Also a reminder, the mayor's preliminary budget will be coming out in January, and we will then have the opportunity to respond in a letter. They do read that letter, it turns out. We got inquiries from agencies after we sent it last year, so be prepared for that. Yutha, the district manager's report.
Good evening, everyone. In addition to my report, I have a few announcements. If you could check the info table, we have a few health screenings coming up, very important. One being one being the mammogram bus. Council member Abreu is hosting at his office in front 500 West 141st Street. We have it on the info table. Please share it with your contacts, as well as keeping men healthy. There will be a prostate screening, cancer screening bus at Carver Bank on February 4th, 1:30 to 3:30. We have the forms on the table as well. I know it's in February, but it'll be approaching soon, so please share it with your contacts. Also, a bit of good news. New York City Parks, Morningside Park, the 113th Street staircase was under construction. It began in April 2024. It was granted a 1 year for completion. Please note, it will be opening ahead of schedule. So look for the opening date for the staircase. And I did announce the free prostate screening. So that will conclude the additions to my report. Are there any questions? Yes? Oh, it's okay, great, thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Thank you.
All right, and we will turn it over to Pat Watler-Johnson for our West Harlem Development Corporation report and update.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Oh, stand here? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Ms. Dunn, Dr. There was, the month of May, oh my gosh. The month of January hasn't been as busy as we'd like, but there are things going on. We had a meeting yesterday. We had to meet in executive session. That meeting took place yesterday. The board meeting schedule for the year has not been issued yet. So as soon as the schedule for the year, we'll let you know so that we know when all the meetings are coming up. In terms of events that have been co-sponsored by WHDC, or co-sponsored, the Children's Art Carnival is holding a crochet workshop on Saturday, January 18th. Families and children session is from 11 until 12, and the teens and adults from 12:30 to 1:30. And they'll be held on the third Saturday of every month. You can contact the Children's Art Carnival directly for more information. Harlem School of the Arts is having a celebration of Blackness, Curtain Call to Glory. And they're calling, and it's going to be in the HSA Theater on Saturday, February 15th, from 3 to 4 p.m. And Curtain Call to Glory is a powerful showcase honoring the impact of Black artists who have shaped and inspired greatness, such as Maya Angelou, Whitney Houston, Quincy Jones, Chadwick Boseman, Michaela De Prince, Twitch, Judah Jamison, Arthur Mitchell, August Wilson, and so on. The performances will be by HSA students, and there'll be a special reception from 4:30 to 6 afterwards for HSA supporters. If you'd like more information, please visit the HSA website, or you can contact them directly. Are there any other questions, any questions at all? Hi, Daria. Sure. If I can't answer, I'll find out. Okay. Well, the money, the last payment was issued in 2024. So the other financial information is on the WHT website. Ted, would you like to add any comments to that at all? Ted is the head of the investment committee.
If you can hear me, I will tell you that we are working diligently to take advantage of the sorry, of the interest rates that are available for placing our money in safe, and I want to emphasize safe places. We are not out to go and investing in something that might turn out to be wonderful one day and horrible the next. Because I've been with you as a member for 47 years. That's as a member of Community Board 9. I've been a member of WHDC now since it started. And the last thing I want to do is walk out and say, we lost some of your money. The money is out there to be used and to grow, but responsibly.
Thank you, Ted. And I can take a moment just to say, Ted has done an excellent job of managing the finances as the investment chair. And Ted, you know how much we appreciate you, and I appreciate you. We all do, and we thank you for the job that you do, not only at WHTC, but here in CB9. So I just want to acknowledge you for that, and thank you so much. Are there any other, please clap. Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Pat. We do not have Reverend Morgan Thomas on, I don't think, for the UMES report. Rev, if you're here, if you can raise your hand or text youth and let us know. Thought I saw an iPhone. We will come back. Next up, we have our update from the Manhattan Borough President's Office, which is the office under which we sit.
Thank you, Barry. First and foremost, welcome to 2025. I hope everyone had a happy holidays. It's early in 2025 and I'm already tired. So I'm just gonna put that out there. So to make this really brief, I have two things to bring to you this evening. First off, let me bring you greetings on behalf of the Manhattan Borough President, the Honorable Mark Levine. Now, community board applications. Those are coming in the upcoming days. I think they have been finalized, so you guys should be getting something by next week. I'm going to make sure youth gets the information, as well as you'll be hearing from me as well. So please check when you came onto the board, what year, because that's going to be vital this time around. Okay? If there are any questions, feel free to reach out to youth or reach out to me. I'm very easy to find, unfortunately. I charge extra. I'm going to give you my actually, I'm going to be in the back because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'll be in the back. You can ask me all the questions. Second thing, capital funding. That is ongoing right now. Please go to our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Go under the resources tab down to budget funding, and it'll give you all the rules, regulations, and what you need in terms of applying for that. If you have any questions, you can feel free to set up an interview with our budget director, Amy Slattery. We'll answer any questions that you have because there are strict guidelines with regards to that funding. And last but not least, please be on the lookout for upcoming events that we're having in February. We're going to have a Black History event, and we're going to have an investment event pertaining to housing. So, with that being said, I yield my time back. If there are any questions, I'm at the back of the room.
Thank you so much. And actually, how appropriate after hearing about capital funding that we are going to go into public session where the first speaker is Ms. Carter Bowman from the George Bruce Library, who maybe needs some capital funding.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, my name is Janelle Carter Bowman, the library manager of George Bruce Library. We will always need capital planning assistance. I know we do have a roofing and exterior project that is coming soon, and as soon as I get updates, I'll definitely let youth in the office know. So I'm just here just to give some updates on upcoming programs that we'll be having. So the New York Public Library will be having a career resources fair for teens. This will be happening on Wednesday, March 5th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be at the main building downtown, the Stephen A. Schwartzman Building, which is on 42nd Street and 5th Avenue. So yes, it is happening on a school day. So please reach out to your children's educators. If you want to maybe take your teen out for half a day and bring them. This is an amazing annual fair that we have. There'll be partner organizations there. They can learn about internship opportunities for high school students, how to enter the workforce after graduation if they don't want to go to a university or college, and just talking about a range of career paths that will be open to your teens. So definitely, if you're active in your teens' school, this is something wonderful to talk to the administration about, their teachers about, to say maybe there could be a possible field trip to bring their classes down to this fair. I just want to remind everyone from last month, Shape Up NYC is at George Bruce on Saturdays at 11:30 a.m. with body weight circuit training. There is no registration required, just come in comfortable clothes, and it's a free program with a certified instructor, and it'll be down in our community room. Next month, we will have a mandala art workshop. This is a 4-class series. This is for adults. This will happen Thursdays, February 13th and 27th, and March 13th and 27th at 2 p.m. So feel free to come to this wonderful free art instruction class and come and express yourself and learn about the history and techniques of mandala art and their design. And my last announcement is every Friday we have virtual one-on-one college career counseling sessions. So if you or your teen need assistance with post-secondary planning, whether you're going to college or looking for a career or just need help building out skills, our trained YA librarian is here to help you. So if you go on the George Bruce events page, you can register and have a free virtual session. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, as always, and thank you for keeping it under 3 minutes. I forgot to note, public session is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. The next sign-up does not have a name. It's BIR, Brothers in Recovery. So if you are here with BIR, can you come on down? Mr. Charles. All right.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, hello. My name is Charles Searcy, and I am I represent the BIR, the Brothers in Recovery. And we have a think tank, and we sit down and we try to brainstorm how we can help serve the community, right? And what we've come up with is to have a mentorship program. So we're trying to have a mentorship program in West Harlem for our youngsters because some of our youngsters have gotten out of control. And I think that if we help these youngsters now, they'll be the next set of people that will help the next set of youngsters that's going to need some help down the road. Okay, and this is my first community board meeting, and it was my understanding that you have to be a friend of the community board. So that's why I'm here. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Cersei. You have one question from our treasurer?
Oh, hi, Mr. Cersei. Thank you for coming out. I just want to know, where do you meet now? And do you have any information that you can give us?
My phone number, 646-578-6411, but we meet at 115 West Edgecombe Avenue, right on the corner of 140th Street. That's our clubhouse. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tina, what's the question? All right, I think we can answer that offline there. So if you want to get the days that you meet answered, we will go right ahead to Letitia Lee with the Morningside Heights Library. Come on down.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Letitia Lee, the library manager at the Morningside Heights Library. Just echoing what Janelle said about our career fair. So if you do have teens, bring them on down to the Schwartzman building on 42nd Street. Just want to talk about 3 of the programs that we have coming up for any opera lovers here. We'll be having an author talk with the author of The Definitive Diva, John Lewis, and I always mess up his name, Diatani. And that will be on Tuesday, January 28th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in our community room in the basement of the Morningside Heights branch. And one program that we have for babies that is new this year is called Baby Band. And it's just for babies and toddlers to just kind of come and shake off some energy with some of the instruments that we have. So if you have a baby who is under 18 months, they're free to come every second Monday of the month at 11 a.m. And the final program that I will mention is, just like George Roof, we partner with Shape Up NYC, and we offer on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. yoga in Spanish, and then on Thursday afternoons at 1 p.m. yoga in English. So if you have anyone who wants to practice yoga, absolutely free. We have the mats. You just need to come, bring some water, and you can join us for our programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, oh God, this guy. We have Walter T. Alexander, I'm kidding. Our very own from CB9 with an important announcement and update and request.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Just to inform you that we're kickstarting our task force on the RKO Hamilton, which I found out it's been vacant since 1965. We've been inside to look at the interior. It's a lot of work that probably would need to be done, but we're not exactly sure. So I'm asking people who have connections with architecturals, any type of political connections, things like that, so we can collaborate and make this a community project. I'm hoping to reach out to Columbia as well as City College, because to get their input. I'll be dealing with the Landmarks Committee, with Arts and Culture Committee, as well as the Housing Committee, because there's a parcel on the side of 147th Street that's been vacant for a while, and it would be great if we could put housing there for seniors as well as artists living in the neighborhood. So I asked for, some people gave me their email addresses last month. I did not forget you. It's right there by my computer. I will inform everybody. So if you're interested in being involved, you don't have to come every day, or I'm not sure how often we're going to be. We're going to establish that. But it's a wonderful thing to try to get off the ground, especially since they renovated the theater on 175th Street, the King's Theater in Brooklyn, the one in 47th Street where they raised the theater up a whole level. So ours is sitting there vacant. It would be a boon to the community to have artist meetings, community involvement, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get this space started. Stay in touch with me. You can give me an email address. As soon as I get it kicking, I will let you know. Under 3 minutes. Da-da! Now she's telling me economic development. I think I have a question. That's 4 now. Wow. Whoop, whoop. That's how we do this. Okay, so anybody from the community, if you just want to be involved, if you work at Columbia, if you work at City College, just, and landmarks, we have to forget your landmarks too. All right, that's it. My 3 minutes is up.
Thank you very much, Walter, and thank you for spearheading that task force, which has been without a chair since Dan Cohen left the board. Okay, next up, and I realize I am remiss in not adding to Victor's chair report the op-ed that he and Councilmember Abreu published in the Daily News calling on Columbia to open their gates. So I should have called that out earlier. Next up, we have Phil Aufrey from Morningside Heights.
I'd like to thank the council members for posting on the Daily News our issues here in Morningside Heights with the gates being closed for almost a year now. It was posted yesterday, and after our conversation at the end of 24, we're very grateful. Today, we got a little bit of an update on the issues of Morningside Heights concerning the gates and just the general security. I talked to the new rep for Morningside Heights, and we talked about the 3 street lights on 116th Street and Morningside Drive that have been out for months and months. One of them has been out for a couple of years. No matter who I talk to, they're still out, they don't work. Also, the security booth in that area has broken windows on the side. Their monitor to view the cameras doesn't work, so they can't see what's going on. When it rains and fogs up, the windows all get glassed over. They can't see out the windows. So we've had a lot of crime in that one little spot. A lot of people transverse the park at 116th Street to go down into central Harlem to catch the B or C, or they come up the park. There's a dog run there. So a lot of the lights inside the park are also out, and it doesn't seem like the public security from Columbia is doing anything, or the city itself. The main issue that we have is the closure of the gate at 116th Street. 1953 was closed to vehicle traffic. Beautification program came in, and they created the College crosswalk. It's between Amsterdam and Broadway. On Broadway, you have the number 1 train stop, you have the number 4 bus, the 104 bus, you have Morton Williams there. A lot of people coming to St. Luke's Hospital go across that walkway, and it's a major open space for people. There's benches there, people having coffee, just talking. My mom's 97, she meets friends there, gets a little light, looks at the flowers, etc. And there's a lot of other people that need access to that. Columbia doesn't own the street. We have a public easement, and that gate should be open. NYPD would, if anybody closed any street in the city, NYPD would be there, say open the street. They need to open that street immediately. Today, I was interviewed by the New York Post. There'll be an article tomorrow in the Post about it. And, we're reaching out to community members here. It's not only the closure of the street, it's like they're privatizing the street. And once that happens, and they've done it to other parts, and they're doing it here. I mean, this is Manhattanville, and they're encroaching on Manhattanville. So if you look at what Morningside Heights, they've probably evicted a couple 100,000 people since the 50s. They take over the buildings. Oh, by the way, you need to move. So this affects everybody, Hamilton Heights, Sugar Hill, Manhattanville, and in our community as well. So we're pushing back hard. I'd like to thank Toby Golick right over here. She's our attorney. We filed a class action lawsuit yesterday at the state, and we're taking some hard punches to stop the encroachment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for all of your efforts, as well as to your attorney for joining us. We have two more signups. Tesoro Estrella from Every Voice Choirs.
Good evening, everyone. Hi. I'm here to announce that Every Voice Choirs is having its annual community singing for Martin Luther King Day. So it's going to be an incredible event that's happening this Sunday, January 19th at 4 p.m. And it will be held at the New York Society for Ethical Culture. It's close to Lincoln Center. Sadly, it's not here in CB9, but the event is free. All you need to do is reserve your tickets. And I have some flyers out there in the front if you want to check it out. It's going to be a fantastic event. The kids are going to be singing, and we just hope that a lot of the community members show up and just sing with us and have a great time. It's all about community. It's beautiful. And I also just wanted to touch base and let everybody know that all of the choirs for EVC are open for registration. So we have kids choir, youth choir, concert, voice ability kids and youth, and the Cornerstone Intergenerational Choir that is now open for registration. So if you know any of the kids in your neighborhood or your kids that are interested in singing, please let us know. And you can email me at tesoro@everyvoicechoirs.org, or you can also email us and check out our website. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And we miss having your mother on the board. Yes.
She sang for us at the youth, the senior resource fair.
Oh, we will hold you to that. And Tina Reuter is our next public session sign up. Welcome back.
I'm just going to add a little to what Phil said. Toby filed a lawsuit. We have several plaintiffs, but we can still add additional plaintiffs. So if anybody would like to join in the lawsuit, it's a pretty easy process. You will tell Toby what the harm is caused to you by the closure of the crosswalk at 116th Street. She'll write it up. And if you agree with what she wrote up, then you sign it, and she'll add it to the lawsuit. Though we actually went through a first stab at this lawsuit in December, we filed it, and they actually gave QR codes to those plaintiffs. Oh, sorry. We told them we were going to file the lawsuit, and they said, okay, well, if you're going to file a lawsuit, we'll give you a QR code. So certain people now have a code and they can walk through campus. But of course, if you're not in that select privileged group, you don't get that benefit. So we would think maybe if more people join up as plaintiffs, they'll be, hopefully we will actually win and they'll open the campus. That would be the best. But if you want to try for the tiny little step forward of having a QR code, you could try that. And so if you are interested in that, please let us know and we can get your information and help you start that.
How can people contact you?
You can contact, do you want my email or yours, Toby? Toby's email is tgolick, @yu.edu. You're welcome.
And last up on our sign up, we have Laquita Henry from our very own Arts and Culture Committee. Health and Environment, sorry. It's been a long week. Here you go, Laquita.
Thank you. Laquita Henry, Health and Environment Committee. And we don't generally stand up and pronounce the monthly designations, but this is an important one. January is Mental Health Month, and we've been doing a lot talking about that in our committees. We have had different representatives from social service agencies, psychologists, clinical counselors come to our meetings and talk, and providing critical information on how we as a community board can support these agencies and get the word out in terms of how we can be more forthcoming in helping
What?
those this as it's impacting our
No.
community. Specifically today, we've heard a lot about Governor Hochul's state of the state and Mayor Adams's state of the city announcements. And we need to be able to respond and see how we can help. There may, of course, be certain things that we disagree with, but we have to act and we have to do something. It might, as in Adams's report, include a new facility for the homeless, mentally ill New Yorkers, expanding safe haven beds, housing youth for runaway and who are runaway and homeless. But there's some daunting statistics that Rikers Island, for example, is one of the largest psychiatric care providers in the country, with 50% of its population having a mental health diagnosis and 16% of them suffering from serious mental illnesses. Now, everything doesn't have to deal with the homeless, but there are mental stresses from all walks of life, and they're impacting many of them in terms of violent actions, particularly on the subway. So we need to listen to what the governor and the mayor are saying. There's also the Coalition of the Homeless, which has its own perspective, but we need to develop ours as well. The other thing is that we're fortunate to have the West Harlem Development Corporation having funded 12 of the organizations in the health and human services area, and they have presented to us. And then we have an extended relationship with the Department of Health and Mental Health, and one of our new agencies will be at our February 2nd meeting discussing the children's single point of access, because this issue of mental health is really being seen and impacting our youth as well. So just in one closing, our mantra since declaring our monthly mental health segment is in order to truly address mental health, we must tackle the broader social determinants of health, like stable housing, environmental health, access to nutritious food, and economic stability. And thank you, Barry, because I know you didn't get this to the last minute.
Thank you very much. Okay, we will now move on to the second part of Section 6, which is our elected officials updates for those who were not here in person. I have Tiffany Brown from the mayor's office, and then Gabriela Carrella from Councilmember Abreu's office, Shani Herrera from Councilmember Salam's office, and Mr. Lafayette Moore from Senator Claire's office. So we'll go in that order. Ms. Brown, the floor is yours. Oh, you know what? You're right. I think she did leave. Okay. We will go ahead then on to Gabriela Carrera from Councilmember Abreu's office.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Okay, so my notes are as follows. So as Barry mentioned, Councilmember Shana Abreu has partnered with Victor, CB9 president, to demand that Columbia University reopen its gates. Access is crucial for our community, and Columbia has a legal obligation to keep these gates open. With the gates closed, it's become more difficult for residents to access the subway, get to work, and carry out everyday tasks. These are all things you guys already know, and if you read the Daily News article, you also read them on there. But this is an important issue, and Sean just wanted to make sure that I circled back to it since his last visit at TB9. Another update is the Riverside Church Workday School. So this Sunday, members of the Riverside Church Workday School will be voting to decide if the school remains open or not. They need at least 100 members present to vote. Therefore, if you are one of the families that would be affected by this closure, please make sure to be present this Sunday at the Riverside Church to take part in the vote at 1 p.m. Sean is enraged that another long-standing childcare program is facing the possibility of closure, one that families have relied on for roughly 90 years. And he will be present to speak with parents on that day at the coffee hour at noon. So we encourage anyone who's affected to participate and to show up and vote. On another note, 3K applications are open now. You can apply online at www.myschools.nyc/. Additionally, our team, alongside Espaillat's office, De Los Santos' office, and De Las Fresas' office, are all taking part in a housing clinic this Saturday and next Saturday, the 25th. You must schedule your appointment ahead. It will be at the Washington Heights Academy. I will be there. My constituent services team will be there. Basically, the housing clinic, for anyone that doesn't know, is anyone who needs assistance. Usually, we get a lot of people who maybe don't have access to the internet, who need assistance with Housing Connect. So that's that. We will be there. So if you need an appointment, I think for this Saturday, we're pretty booked up last time I checked this morning. But if you do need an appointment and you're interested in that, please reach out to our office because we can schedule you for next Saturday. The Lower East Side Ecology Center is available to come to buildings to give workshops and informational sessions about composting. You can also reach out to us if your building is interested in participating so that we can help set that up. On a side note, which is not in my notes, but they are in the office, we do have some personal compost bins. I don't know if some of you have seen them. They're the tan ones with the white lids, provided by DSNY. We do have quite a few in the office that I am excited to give away. So if anyone is in the market for some, just please let me know. I'm at the point where I am even doing drop-offs. So if you're interested, please let me know and I will set that up. And then lastly, 2 quick events, which I'm sure Yutha probably printed for you all and has them in the desk nearby. We have the mammogram bus, which we need to schedule at least 20 women over the age of 40 to get their mammograms done. The bus will be at the district office, 500 West 141st Street on February 18th. And you can just call our office to schedule an appointment, and basically they will reach out to you to determine, to do like a pre-screening before you come to your appointment. And lastly, the e-waste event is this Saturday, January 18 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Church of the Holy Name /St. Gregory between 96th Street and 97th Street. You can bring all old electronics, including accessories like keyboards, mouses, floppy disks, DVDs, computers, etc. That is all I have for today. I don't know if anyone has any questions, but thank you all for your time and for being here tonight.
Thank you. We do have questions, at least one. Walter Alexander, go ahead. Question for Councilmember Bray's office.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting any of that, Barry.
As a retiree from New York City, as you know, they are trying to push retirees into a Medicare Advantage program, which is a little less than what straight Medicare does. We need Shauna Brew's support on that effort because a lot of the patients, a lot of the seniors will not be able to go to their doctors because the doctors won't take Medicare Advantage. So we were promised to stay in Medicare, not Medicare Advantage, so we really need his support. And it's very important that he stands up for us, okay? Thank you.
I will certainly take that back to him and the legislative team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions for Councilmember Bray? Yes. Pass that back to
Hi, my name is Katie. I am a parent of a son who's currently at the weekday school. We're very grateful for Mr. Abreu's presence on Sunday. I just wanted to clarify that the vote is for members of the Riverside Church, and the quorum, as you cited, is correct, that 100 members are needed to be able to vote to keep the school open. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Gabriella. How are you? It's Joyce.
Hi, Joyce.
I'm asking this question because this is Sean's district, but people have been asking me. It's almost every night there's a big truck that comes from DEP to different streets, and they make a whole lot of noise. It seems as if we don't know if they're cleaning the sewers or whatnot, but people want to know what is going on.
I was going to say the truck is from DEP?
DEP, correct. And it's
Okay,
going from street to street.
I've got to be honest with you, Joyce, I have not heard of this issue, so I'm not familiar, but I am more than happy to reach out to DEP and ask what's going on with that. So if you want to email me, maybe you could jump on the thread that I had emailed you earlier today. You can just send me the location and like the time frame that this is happening, and I can draft like a more, specific email drafting like what the concerns are and if they could give me like more of an explanation of what's going on. And whether this is like a temporary thing or, basically get a rundown of what's going on, because it has not been brought to my attention, Joyce. So I don't know as of right now. Is that good? Is that okay? I'm not getting any feedback, but I'm hoping that's okay.
Yes, this is a three-part in one question, and if
Okay.
I'm wrong, I stand correct. Um, this is about the gates at Columbia University. To my knowledge, the gates were a gift, and if they were a gift, did anybody tell Columbia University that it's a gift? And if not, can somebody tell them that it's a gift and they really need to open the doors because they have really no power to even do what they're doing? Thank you.
Gabrielle, you want to close this out?
Yeah. I guess that's fine. What I was going to suggest, I honestly I couldn't see him. I can't locate him in the room, but what I would encourage him is to read the article if he hasn't. On our end, I speak for Sean when I say that he is pushing and we are pushing. And I think at this point the community, everyone's pushing, so they're feeling the heat. And I'm hoping that with this with this opinion that was drafted by the council member and Victor, that we can at least get some responses and some answers. I think we at this point in this room, I'm pretty sure we all have the same goal and the same hope for those gates to be reopened as soon as possible, because like you said, I think the community is entitled to them. Thank you guys and good night.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Ms. Shani Herrera from Councilmember Yusuf Salam's office. I think we have promoted you to panelist already.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I'm gonna.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I bring you greetings from Councilmember Yusuf Salam. I'm Shani Herrera. I'm his district manager at the office of Councilmember Yusuf Salam. I want to thank all the members of the community board for allowing me to provide updates on behalf of our council member. I also want to thank all of the community members that are in attendance today for your partnership in helping us to serve the constituents in District 9. I wanted to offer a quick update from our team. We're pleased to announce that we have a new chief of staff. Her name is Wilma Brown. Many may already know of Ms. Brown. She brings extensive experience and dedicated to this role, and we're excited about the energy and the expertise that she'll be bringing to our team. Additionally, applications for the fiscal 26 budgets are now open. Our office has been actively sharing information about this process. You can also find a link to the complete instructions on how to apply for funding on our website. That's at the City Council website /Yusuf Salam. If you or your organizations have any questions or you need support, please do not hesitate to reach out to Wilma or anyone in our staff. As we continue through the year, the council member and the team will remain focused on addressing the needs of District 9, including public safety, housing, and equitable opportunities for all. We value your collaboration on this board in our collective service to Harlem. We thank you, and our office looks forward to working even more closely together for the betterment of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Herrera. Are there any questions for Councilmember Salam's office? All right. Thank you very much again. Next up, we will have Mr. Lafayette Moore from Senator Claire's office. And are there any other staffers from elected officials that I may have missed? If you're in the attendees thing, go ahead and put yourself in the Q&A. Just let us know and we'll promote you. But Mr. Moore, the floor is yours.
Good evening. God bless. On behalf of the most honorable New York State Senator Cordell Claire, I bring each and every one of you Happy New Year. Cheers and greetings. The senator would have liked to be there herself this evening. However, she is under the weather and we pray for her to have a safe and speedy recovery back to good health. The senator is also aware of the problems that's facing Columbia University on a number of levels. And so our office have received calls concerning the opening of the gate. I believe that she has spoken with the president of the college concerning that. And I think that the chair has also been involved in those conversations. The senator is in the process of creating a chat, a coffee and chat, where she'll be going throughout the district, speaking to different um, uh, people in the district concerning their issues and concerns, and trying to find solutions for whatever that's ailing our community. Also, we will be going to caucus weekend on the 15th of February, and we'll be having buses leaving the Harlem State Office building. So if anyone who wants to travel with us to caucus weekend, feel free. That's February 15th, 2025. And you can reach our office at 212-222-7315. That's 212-222-7315. And like everyone else said prior to us, this is time for budgeting and discretionary funding. And you can reach our office and apply. Our legislative director will be able, Chris Labarge will be able to assist in that process. And if there are any constituent issues, please feel free to contact us. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moore. Are there any questions for Senator Clare's office? All right, going once, going twice. For folks who have not been up to Albany for caucus weekend, there are excellent workshops and panels for community people who are engaged. I highly encourage you to take the senator up on her offer of a ride up to Albany. That concludes our update from elected officials. If there are any other elected officials on the Zoom or their offices, please message us, let us know, put a question in the Q&A function in Zoom. But we will now move on to our action items. So the first and only action item, which was added from the floor via an amendment at the top of the meeting, is the resolution of, is it support for the weekday center? Okay. Well, who will be presenting it?
What are we saying?
You can read your resume.
Since this wasn't, was this emailed ahead of time?
No, okay. So
Just hold it close to you.
They can't see you. You can't turn it down.
I want to turn it down.
You can't.
There you go. Oh, super. All right, first, let me be really quick to thank Ted Kovalet for all of your help and assistance with this reso. Also, I mentioned it before, but Saturday is Dr. Ted Kovalet's Day. So everyone feel free to text him and say Happy Ted Day. It's not his birthday, but it's a day of recognition for all the work he's done in our community. Well deserved. And then other thing really quickly is YEL. You guys are amazing. Thank you everybody for your help and input. So let me read the reso. Whereas the Weekday School is a small nonprofit community-based organization preschool for children ages 2 to 5 years and has been a resource to the Harlem community serving families for over 95 years. Whereas the Weekday School has a diverse community that fosters sharing, understanding, and respect while focusing on the social, emotional, cognitive, and physical development of each child. Whereas 71, oh, we may need to make a quick amendment, but I think this is going to have to say 46% of families served identify as being either families of color, whole or in part, i.e. one or both parents identify as Black, Latino, Latina, or Asian, Latinx, whereas there is a lack of quality childcare that provides options by offering financial aid, whereas 75% of the students attending a weekday school receive some form of financial aid, whereas the community has recently lost the Red Balloon Preschool, another similar institution, and some of the affected families have enrolled their children in a weekday school. Therefore, be it resolved that Manhattan Community Board 9 notes that the space was specifically designed as an early childhood learning space. We must preserve community institutions, and we are writing this letter of support for the weekday school to advocate for their continued stay in their current location at the Riverside Church. Therefore, Manhattan Community Board 9 calls on Riverside Church to reconsider its position and to allow the weekday school to remain open and continue to provide a community-centered, quality early childhood education program, and to approve the special counsel to collaborate with the church and parents to find sustainable solutions that are beneficial to the church, school, and families for the foreseeable future.
Unanimous consent.
Well, maybe there are questions. Yes. 46, yeah. Okay. All right. No, but I agree. Support for the Riverside Church. And just so everyone is on the same page, Sean Abreu's office mentioned it. There will be a special counsel, so that's why it says approval of the special counsel. It's not something we're making up. The church and the families have come together to hopefully create a special counsel to figure out how to keep it not just open but sustainable for the future.
Yeah, I was going to say if that could have been clarified, but.
Is there any other discussion, debate of the reso?
Barry cannot hear you.
Moving on to our old business section, I would be remiss if I did not remind folks that in-person attendance is expected at these general board meetings and at your assigned committee meetings. If you need an excused absence or virtual accommodation under our attendance policy that was shared with everybody at the beginning of the fiscal year, you will have to email either the committee co-chairs for your committee or the chair, Victor Edwards, and vice chairs and Youtha for the general board so that we can A, get you the link, but B, record your attendance appropriately. We are required by the state open meetings law to have an in-person quorum established before we can conduct any business. Also, I see we have Captain Rose from the 30th Precinct here. Captain, do you want to say anything or?
And congratulations is in order.
Yes, yeah, thank you very much. So, for those of you that don't know me, Captain Carrie Rose from the 30th Precinct. I just start by saying Happy New Year. I didn't make the December meeting. My XO, Captain Lopez, was here. So just to give you a really quick thank you. The last time I spoke at this meeting, I was the acting commanding officer. Now I'm here, standing here as the permanent commanding officer. We had a great year in 2024. Couldn't have done it without your support. Crime is down. We know how to fight crime. Community problems, you let me know. We'll get out there and we'll get to them. We'll try and get them fixed. I think we've made really tangible success, quantifiable results in the 30th Precinct. And we look forward to a great 2025. Joyce, thank you for all your help. Youtha, the whole community board, Barry, Victor, I couldn't have done it without all of you, so I really appreciate it. Everybody sitting in this room, feel free to contact me. I know a lot of the area is the 26th Precinct. I have a very good working relationship with Deputy Inspector Taveras. You know, we don't really draw that line, so anything you need, let me know. we'll get to it and we'll try and get it fixed for you, all right? Thank you very much. I know everybody wants to get out of here, so I won't take up any more time. Just a very big Happy New Year and thank you.
I have one word and we will follow up, and that word is billiards. Yeah, so we will be following up. Okay, is there any other old business? Moving on, is there any new business?
Ted,
Ted, go ahead.
yes, you caught me by thanking me so much. What you don't realize is that the 47 years that I've worked with you and my family, that's what you are. You're my family. And it means so much to me. And I want to thank you.
You're our family too, Ted.
We all love you, Ted. And yes. Yeah, we should take a field trip. But Ted, thank you for your involvement on the issue with the Riverside Church weekday school in particular. I know that your family has special ties to that, and you've been incredibly helpful, as has Nancy.
I'd like to thank Nancy for also allowing us, or for Nancy for sharing you with us, Ted. Thank you. That's right.
Thanks, Yutha.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yay! Is there any further new business for the board to consider? All right, John Martin Green has requested that we adjourn. Walter Alexander has seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Meeting is adjourned at 8:22 p.m. Yes, for community board members, please, on your pink cover sheets, add the reso regarding the Riverside Church weekday school and your vote.
The special meeting for guardians is at 1 p.m. on Sunday. I don't know. The date was mentioned, but I don't know if the
Oh, and as a reminder, the meeting at Riverside Church is this Sunday at 1 p.m. But only members of the church congregation can vote.
We all can attend, right?
Okay.
Still on. You can turn it off now. Exit Zoom.
Also, community board members, please make sure you signed in at the front desk. And as I mentioned earlier, please turn in your pink voting sheets from your packet. Thank you, Lisa. Happy New Year.